it's Anna and this is Atlas 101. In this lesson, we are going to continue working with the Builder mode. In the last lesson, I showed you all the basics of Builder. So if you are new to this interface, make sure that you check that episode out first. And then in this one, we are actually going to create an interface with this data of apartments in Denmark. So let's get started. Let's add some sections. I usually like to add a section on the left and maybe also on the right. And let's start adding some components then. So in this one, maybe what we want to create first is a list of all the apartments, so we can add feature list. Let's add it on the right side. And you can choose if you have the title or not. Maybe in this case, we don't need a title, or we can add a bigger title on the left side. And then you choose the dataset that you're working with. In this project, it's very easy. We only have one dataset, so let's go with that. Then you have different layouts that you can choose from. You can choose cards like we have now. You can choose list, dense, grid, or mesh. Let's go with cards. So the layout has already certain things that you can just fill out the fields for. These fields are the fields of your data table that are applicable for this case. So let's start by adding an image. We have an image field in our data table. So we just find that from the list and we add some images like this. Then we don't want the URL to be our title because we actually have a title somewhere like this. Then maybe from the right side, we want to remove this metric or indicator, actually it's called, because that takes some space from the title. Like this. Subtitle, I think city is quite a good subtitle for this case. We might not need a description, and then the metrics we might want to have as the main metric monthly rent, because that is quite important when looking for an apartment, right? And then as a sub-metric, maybe we could have the availability of the place. So available from, and then the date. So this is how our feature list looks like right now. Then we can choose from the option a couple of things. We can have cross-filtering on. I will show you later what it means. And then we can have filter by viewport, because then what it means is that right now we have all the points showing. So we have all the 1,782 features in our feature list. But if we zoom in closer somewhere, we start to have less and less, like you can see the number here. So it only shows the places that there is in the viewport based on your zoom level, like this. Then on the left side, let's add some different components there. So maybe we could start with a title for the whole thing, project title. This project title is what our project name is, and we don't have a name for our project. This is the default one. So let's actually change that one first. So apartments in Denmark is quite descriptive, right? So now it updates itself. Then we can start adding some components. So let's have some filters at least. And here we can choose a different title for the filter. Let's first filter based on the monthly rent, as it might be quite important. Then we choose the dataset we're working with, and then we can choose a different layout. You can have checkbox, cards. Let's actually add first a field so that I can show you how these different ones would look like. Checkbox would look like this, cards, chips, select, and range. I think range is quite a good one for this. And then let's choose this one again. It needs to be a number field for this filter. And then we have quite many steps in our histogram right now. So that means the number of these polls showing here, but we want to have a bit less. Maybe let's have 20. And then here is the slider. When we use the slider, we get only the apartments with that certain rent range showing, like this. Then we could maybe add one chart, maybe a pie chart, maybe to show the number of rooms. So let's call it rooms. Then we work with the same data set, of course, and then we choose the rooms like this. You can choose different operations. Let's have count so that we can see how many 2-room apartments, 3-room apartments, and so on we have. Then in the options, you can have the same things as filter by viewport, so based on the zoom level basically, and cross-filtering. Then you can change the color. So maybe here we could, for example, take this color palette. And you can edit the number of categories. Maybe we can add a couple of more, like that. Then you can see, for example, 3-room apartments. Let's add one more filter, and I think we should filter based on square meters as well. So size, and let's call it square meters, like this. And maybe again we want to use the range because that is very descriptive and quite many steps again. So let's reduce the amount like that. And then I'm going to finally tell you what cross-filtering here means. So basically, if I, for example, change the square meters here now, it will affect all the other filters that I have on the page. So then you can choose all your favorite options from different filters, and then only those ones will show on the map. Like this. And I think we are done with our interface. I can show you how to preview it now. So here in the upper right corner, you can choose to preview it, and then you see how it would look like for the end user. And this was all for this lesson and for Builder. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson of Atlas 101.